time to go back to my first love, which has always been fantasy, and there has been some really great YA fantasy books BookTube has been just raving about that I have been itching to read. Let's take a look, shall we? Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas? This has been getting so much BookTube love, and the covers are incredible. From what I understand, this is a story about an assassin. Assassins, I've been finding, are very popular in recent fantasy, both adult and YA fantasy. It was a recurring theme in my adult fantasy TBR I did last summer. Anyway, Giselle at Book Nerd Canada really digs Kalina as a heroine. She says she gives Katniss Everdeen a run for her money. I do love me some Katniss, so that's a good sign for this book. Is it true that the author was 16 when she wrote this book? The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. The description on Goodreads for this book is very vague, but Little Book Owl calls it mysterious and creepy. But then again, Susie from Read Susie Read said it kinda lacks substance and really only had enough material for a short story. So I'm still not actually sure what this book is about, but it's so talked about all over BookTube, I have to give it a try. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. First, this cover is so distinctive. It's a good piece of marketing work. I think it's a blast of sapphire blue. The Goodreads description for this book mentions winged strangers, so I'm guessing angels of some sort. Bekah AwesomeBookNut gives kudos to the imagination that went into making this book, but majibookshelf says the beginning is really confusing, so who knows. So let's talk about one of my favorite subgenres, rewritten fairy tales. Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. This does not have the best rating on Goodreads, but I'm a sucker for Beauty and the Beast retelling, so I'm going to give it a try anyway. Kassidy Voinche calls it twisted, dark, and crazy, while Bekah AwesomeBookNut phrases it as more as beautiful and dark. So I'm curious, very curious with this one. So, staying on a roll with Beauty and the Beast retellings, I want to read Of Beast and Beauty by Stacey J. The description is, in the beginning was the darkness, and in the darkness was a girl, and in the girl was a secret. This book has less than 4,000 ratings on Goodreads, so it's definitely a little known book, but it's got great reviews. Bekah AwesomeBookNut is a big fan. Samantha from The Secret Life of a Bookworm says it's one of the most unique and intriguing retellings she's ever read. Maybe I'll just go on a binge of reading just Beauty and the Beast retellings. I can reread Robin McKinley's 2 versions and Beastly, and then these 2. What other Beauty and the Beast retellings are there I can add? And then I can cap it off by watching the Disney movie. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Briggs. Seriously need a shorter name to refer to that thing by. All I know is it's about a mysterious island, an abandoned orphanage, and a strange collection of very curious photographs. This book has been all over BookTube. Maxwell from Welldone Books says he could not put it down. Charlotte from Charrsnewchapter says the writing was a bit more simplistic than she was used to, but she ended up loving the book, the concept, the plot, the construction. She loved it. The cover looks awesome, and I could use a good creepy book. And finally, The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson. This is not one of the highest rated books on this list, but it has been widely read on BookTube, so I would like to see what it's about. All I know is it's about a princess who gets married on her 16th birthday and has to fulfill a prophecy. majibookshelf says it's actually historical fantasy, and the only other historical fantasy I've ever read is The Stuff by Juliette Marillier, who is one of my favorite authors, so I'm curious to try out more historical fantasy. Jillian from BookishandNerdy says if I like Throne of Glass, I'll probably like this one, so we'll see if I like either of them. Alright, where do I start, guys? Where in the smorgasbord of fantasy do I start?